All right. Everything should be good. Hey, hey, hey. How's it going, Aliana?
Zealand, a huge
I'm not a big fan of the gum and 40 on 40 on 40. Nice. Did you did you ever end up joining the Discord or no? I can't remember. I was kind of lost in the sauce last night because I got into like a massive debate with, by the way, another woman. I'm too shy. I can't believe it. You're getting replaced, Aliana. Like the woman in chat last night, she was not even the woman I was talking about. Lou is a whole ass different person. Why do you want me to be on your? Oh, you don't have to be on stream. I'm just saying join the Discord because then you'll get like notifications when my stream's up. Yeah, you don't have to come into voice chat. Like I'm not forcing you to do that. That's a consent thing. I forgot to comment in the sentence. Yeah. So you can just join the Discord and you can just talk shit with people after like the chat is offline and stuff. Because Shug and Lou were going at it last night, and I was just watching them while I was like doing some after stream stuff. I'm so intoxicated right now. Queen. It was the most autistic shit ever, and if you were in the Discord, you would know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It was like a video they're talking about the state, the matter of state of water or something, and it was like they went like a whole few paragraphs about it. Just making sure everything's good on my end. Also, am I quiet or is the volume of my mic good? Sorry, was puking. Jesus, how much have you drank? I was smoking all day actually. The unemployment's hitting high. I see. Intoxication off the split. Alright, let me just see if any of the homeboys are online. Nope, no one. Awesome, I'm alone again. Well, anyways, okay, we're gonna get into it and then see if anybody else joins. I get on disability soon. I get tired. Based.
Zealand, a huge milestone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rob Buchanan. I'm the Chief Executive of Channel Infrastructure. As you can see, we've got some very special guests with us today, but before I introduce them, I wanted to acknowledge all of those who are here today who have worked tirelessly, sometimes around the clock, to deliver what you see behind me, which represents 9 days of diesel resilience for New Zealand. This was a project that brought together the best of Channel and our Northland contract.
Furthermore, 161 and 1312. What the fuck does that even mean? Oh, it's an anti-state dog was okay. Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Family. Unlike most major infrastructure projects, which involve months, sometimes years of planning, This project didn't exist 3 weeks before we got started, and 9 weeks later, the team had delivered the assets safely and on time.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Our team was inspired by the opportunity and mission of delivering for New Zealand. They demonstrated agility, creativity and problem solving, and urgency and around-the-clock execution to deliver this tank. Big enough for the beehive to fit inside of.
I'll tell you the direct translation just to help you feel more at ease. That would be amazing if you could do that.
But this is how we roll at Channel, along with our partners, including Z.
Anti-fascist actions and all cops are bad. Okay. So I'm guessing the 161 is the anti-fascist action, and the 1312 is all cops are bad or whatever. Oh, I get it. I get it. Okay, no, I the numbers are the alphabets. Okay, it's like what the Nazis do with like 88 or whatever, the Adolf Hitler, Heil Hitler stuff. Okay, I understand. Two birds in the same nest. I see.
Energy, who are here today, we've spent over 165 million in new storage and infrastructure projects over the past couple of years, bringing new opportunities to Marsden Point,
yes, I that.
as well as fuel security for New Zealand. And when people thought of Channel as just a closed down ex-refinery, we created an energy precinct vision for the future, with the potential to create 20,000 construction jobs and bring new strategic industries to New Zealand. And when there was doubt on how we would deliver 9 days of...
I don't know if you try throwing up 88 to a Nazi, they'll think you're a Fed. Yeah, I think because I think the idea is that it was pretty esoteric before, but like now kind of everybody knows about it, so that they think that like if you're just using 88, like there's a new form of 88 basically now, like the propaganda changes and stuff like that.
Diesel storage for New Zealand in 9 weeks. Our team said, yes, we can, and then we did. So, but now I'd like to introduce the Prime Minister.
But remember, like the whole point of like political extremism is that you want your dog whistles to only be known by like the best believers who are like in the rabbit hole. What's the New Zealand fascist dog whistle? We don't really have like fascist movements. They're more just like right-wing populist. Like the best dog whistle is like it's like the whole like the Americans use this in MAGA. It's like we gotta make New Zealand. We have to keep New Zealand or something like that. Like there's no real like. Now keep in mind, maybe I just don't know because I'm not in the pipeline because I'm not a retarded fascist. But I don't know if there's actually specific dog whistles.
To say a few words.
Like we're a very toxically normal society when it comes to our politics. Like everything is very normal over here. Okay, like white national. Yeah, basically, it's like just outwardly like white nationalist stuff. If you're gonna get to the extremes, but like our politics is like toxically normal over here.
Great. Well, firstly, kia ora, good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming out here. It's fantastic to be here. Can I say thank you to you, Rob, and to all the Channel Infrastructure team. It's been awesome to meet the team of experts behind us here who've all played a role in making this project come to life in the way that you have. But more importantly, can I also say thank you for your leadership and thank you for the way that you are.
Over here, fascist slogan is white unity at every opportunity. Hey, that's bars, you know? At least it rhymes.
Transitioning what was the refinery site into a terminal site that's future proofing New Zealand's energy need and security. Look, it's great to be here with Ministers Nicola Willis and Shane Jones and Linda.
Hey, sup Ganja, how's it going?
And all the team from Z Energy as well, and the rest of the Channel Infrastructure team, and everyone who's actually worked incredibly hard around the clock to get us to this point. Today we do mark a really important and a practical milestone for New Zealand's fuel security with the completion of 2 refurbished diesel storage tanks here at Marsden Point, which is now holding our first shipment of those 90 million litres of Dextra diesel procured by our government through our agreement with Z Energy and Lindis. Diesel matters to New Zealanders, as you all know, because it's what keeps our country moving. It powers our freight, our farming, our construction, our emergency services, and many of the essential services that Kiwis rely on each and every day.
I'm good, and I'm glad you're streaming in full time. What do you mean in full time? As in, like, I'm streaming full time, like I'm doing it every day? Is that what you're saying?
While the higher fuel prices have been tough to navigate and to deal with for many New Zealanders, having a shortage of fuel, frankly, would have been an even tougher.
Like a hard-working blue collar. You know, I got a job too, so I'm better than most streamers because not only am I employed, I actually I have a constant streaming schedule in the Twitch coal mines.
Consequence for households, for businesses, and for Kiwis. That is why shoring up fuel supply was very much in our three minds as we went through this.
I will say, I think over here in New Zealand, on this Friday, on the 10th of July, and maybe, yeah, I think on the 10th of July, I'm gonna be. I might not stream early. I might stream I might end up streaming later in the night because I've got some dinner plans with family. And then like 19th of July, I've got some political canvassing plans. But other than that, yeah, I'll continue my daily streams or whatever.
Crisis, and particularly diesel, which has been a top priority for our government. When tensions in the Middle East escalated, we recognised the need to act quickly and to make sure that New Zealand had a strong diesel buffer and a secure place to store it. A little over 3 months ago, our government signed off up to $22 million from the Regional Infrastructure Fund to enable Channel Infrastructure to refurbish these diesel storage tanks to increase New Zealand's fuel storage capacity and thereby bolster our fuel.
Mr. Streamer, what advice would you give to someone who wants to run for city council? Start a mob. Honestly, it's just getting locally connected to your politics. Like joining a party, getting involved, and like actually doing stuff. Like, no, you know what's funny? Like you say, besides the obvious, I cannot tell you how much it just is the obvious. Because like a lot of people think that you can just do political change in like a day. Politics is a game of attrition. Like you just got to be in the trenches for a while, and then once someone recognizes your game, like you'll be put into a, the party will like push you into like a seat of power. Because obviously you have to be charismatic to some degree, or you have to be like at least politically adept. That's like one thing, but also like you also do need to be part of a party and whatever. Oh hey Billy, how's it going? Did you know the birds are their own subclass? Okay, I see your animal's autism is coming in. I can't join any parties. Well, no, I'm guessing you say you can't join any parties as like in your because you're like political disposition, right? Like you could probably join a party, but you say you probably don't want to because of what you believe. I love my cunty. It's the best city ever. Frankly, I love my electorate as well. Simply lie. My city. I have to start a union for the city and run on behalf of the union. Yeah, you could do that. Again, as I said, when I say join a party, what I mean is just organize. Just organize, get a team of real motherfuckers together, and then start campaigning. You have to start like making your message known and like convincing people. That's like the biggest thing. Yeah, like I cannot explain to you like how much politics is just the most boring shit. You just got to be out there and do things. It's that easy. I could do that. Sounds easy enough. Yeah, it's literally just a time game, Aliana. It's like a game of attrition. Like you won't see results for like months on end. It'll only be like a year or two when we'll start seeing some traction. Shouldn't be any different from running retail for
security. Channel Infrastructure said it would have the tanks ready in 2 months, and it absolutely delivered. And Rob, I remember sitting with you in my office, and we talked about on time in full and how important that would be. And your team, exactly as you've described it, have come together, worked together with contractors in the region where there's world-class expertise and capability to deliver the project that we see here in front of us. That is a tremendous achievement, and I just do want to genuinely acknowledge all the team at Channel, but also all the partners that you've worked with. Just talking to some of the team, hearing about how much water blasting and cleaning was needed inside these tanks, the 775 metres of piping that was needed, that was put together, and the way that it was done was just incredible. Incredible engineers, incredible contractors.
Bro, I was literally sleeping. I just randomly woke up because I heard blood-curdling screams. What the fuck? What the fuck? The demons, they wanted you to know my stream was live. That's what happened. The demons came to you like, this guy's live, you need to go watch his stream.
Incredible teams, operational teams, officials, and everyone involved across Channel Infrastructure and government agencies. I just do want to acknowledge you, Lindis, and all the team at Z Energy for working alongside the government to help strengthen New Zealand's fuel security. Right from the onset, our mantra was that we want to work with our fuel importers, and Z in particular, rather than actually do things to...
like literally, I just said, and then I stopped.
To the industry. We want to work with industry, not do it to them, was one of the big learnings coming out of COVID, and we were determined to do that. And by doing so, we're able to get some very practical solutions in place and get our supply in place. To Shane and to Nicola, can I say thank you for your leadership, both of you, for those early starts and those endless meetings that we had, and the way that you have driven our government through this process and actually built great relationship and rapport with our importers and Z Energy as well. Securing this extra additional 90 million litres of diesel makes New Zealand a lot more resilient, and in a world that's increasingly volatile and uncertain and chaotic at times, this is actually really important that we have this facility and this asset here in New Zealand.
I love animal. Me too, man. Me too. I love animal. Specifically animal. Just one thing. One animal.
While global tensions arise and fall, the key is that New Zealand must be prepared and consistently and constantly ready for any crisis that may come our way. It's all about making our country more resilient, more secure, so in a volatile and uncertain world. Again, can I just say a big thank you to everybody involved. Thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you, team.
I only love specifically one animal of the entire species. I don't think animal is a species, but you know what, Pop-Off King? Yes, Ganju, I'm not just from Toronto, I'm from the end. I call the man who acted scary with the word.
All the roles that you've played in the group and in the team, bring it to life. You should be very proud we have world-class people working on an asset that actually sets New Zealand up for a great future. And with that, I'll pass over to Shane to say a few remarks.
Yeah,
Oh, fucking Shane Jones, fucking kill me, bro.
The Minister of Finance, this was definitely a strategic and important decision taken by our Cabinet. The Prime Minister, once we took the proposal to him, very quickly identified there was to be no slippage. So I want to acknowledge the team from Channel, but a big shout out to the men
Man, you fucking are autistic. Okay, at first it was a joke, you genuinely fucking are.
and women who came up from Taranaki. A big shout out to the whāngarei workforce here in Taitokero, but also a reminder that we do have practical skills of industry.
Yeah, no, it's not a mic, brother. Go get diagnosed, because you fucking are.
Industrial site, and I'm sure I speak for both the Minister of Finance and I, that when you live in a policy bubble, you tend to overlook the apprenticeship skills, and I think that's a timely reminder that we can do more of it. This is Godzilla. It's got a lot of diesel in it. It's a reminder that we do need a buffer, we do need resilience, and please, media, respect the fact that practical people have delivered on a policy outcome for the government, and we've put our money where our mouth is, and we hope to do a lot more of it. Look around at these buns, media. This is more than adequate to cope with this mahi.
When I was in school, they gave me the wax pencil. I'm not gonna say anything, as you know, you can draw your own conclusions. But I think you have the tism, brother.
And we need to always ensure that in New Zealand we don't overspec things, but we do things based on a risk-based approach. Not overspecking, not compromising the engineering abilities we have to do things that are good enough. Not things that would be nice to look at on a bit of paper, but we cannot afford as a nation. So kia kaha to the workforce, kia kaha Channel. You've delivered, and I'm proud to have played a small part along with the Cabinet in delivering these outcomes.
Well done.
But
In school, I made shapes out of pets, posted other boys, and the Italian teachers played off black kids. Side-eye.
Can I just echo the Prime Minister and Shane Jones in saying that when we first embarked on this project, it's hard to remember now with diesel and fuel prices having come down so much, but those prices had been on the climb. We were watching nervously international markets and wondering whether New Zealand would have enough diesel to keep our economy moving. Channel and Z came together with the government and said we can make a solution happen, and we got it done. We made this happen fast. So, like the Prime Minister and Shane, I want to acknowledge the more than 90 people who were involved in this piece of construction, the multiple vendors and contractors who each brought their skills to the task. And what this facility has delivered us is more security. And that security is essential, because what we saw in New Zealand during the fuel crisis was that it wasn't just a knock to people's wallets, it was a knock to confidence. And by showing that we're capable of this and that we can have a bigger buffer, that builds our confidence. I'm really pleased to see that now fuel prices have come down significantly and we're not having the kind of concern that we previously had about disruption to supply. But what we've all learned as a country is that things can change very quickly. And what we have learned over these past few months is how important having stockholding in the country is and how much confidence that gives the economy. So awesome to have this facility. We have use of it till the end of December, and now we have some bigger tanks that are ready to take fuel into the future. So with that, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
I'll say some words quickly. First, I'll talk to the other big milestone here, which is the new jet storage facility, Zed's Jets facility here at Channel Infrastructure. That's a meaningful increase in jet storage, and to put it in perspective, that 30 million litres is equivalent to 30,000 flights between Auckland and Wellington. And I don't want to also step past the work that Channel have done in that work. So in terms of the professional way they've gone about it, delivering it on time and on budget, Rob, thank you for that. That just proves that at Channel Infrastructure we've got a good partner. And I know that when we think of the big challenges in the energy sector, whether it is resilience, security or transition, no one company, organisation or government can do it on their own. So it is about partnership. And to that point I do want to acknowledge Minister Jones and Minister Willis for their leadership during the fuel crisis. My experience of them was extremely straight up, calm and clear, and I appreciated that. I also want to acknowledge finally, once again, Channel Infrastructure for the extraordinary progress they've made in getting this diesel storage here on time. And lastly, I want to acknowledge my team. The last 100 days have been some of the most challenging, difficult, uncertain periods in any of our career. And that got in the way of lots of things, including their personal lives. But the skill and the work and the care they show to keep New Zealand moving, I'm incredibly proud of you. So thank you very much. Kia kaha.
Good on you. Well done.
Okay. Hey, well, listen, everybody. Be no doubt in this great country of ours, we can do big things.
That's true, Aliana. All cities do have crime.
To do many more in the years ahead. With that, let's get into some questions. If we can, let's focus on the announcement, and then I can take questions of the day at the end as well.
Prime Minister, what is the plan now for the strategic reserve? Will you hold on to it for a while, or could it go back into general use?
I'll let Nicola or Shane talk to that one.
So we have use of this fuel until December, and then after that obviously these tanks will still be available. So we as a government need to give consideration to that. At the moment all fuel companies in New Zealand are required to lift their stock holdings of fuel by 2028, and we will give consideration to whether perhaps we should bring that forward.
Yeah. As we've talked before, in energy we're trying to make sure we have a strategic coal reserve behind Huntly, a strategic diesel reserve here, and obviously an LNG import facility to give us that resilience that we need to get energy security in place. But again, we are very open, to accelerating minimum stock holdings as well, and we'll have to have that conversation as a team and as a cabinet. Okay.
And have you given any more thought to the targeted support that you gave certain people within New Zealand? When could we get a decision on that?
Yep, I can maybe take some of it, Nicola, the other piece, but certainly, look, the way we've said that we want temporary, timely, targeted support. As you know, we put a $50 a week, essentially, in work tax credit in place. That is temporary in the sense of we need to see 4 consecutive weeks of petrol being below $3. That's done and recorded by MB on a weighted regional average, and obviously we'll have numbers coming out tomorrow from, as our usual, weekly fuel update. But Nicola, do you want to talk to the other piece?
Yeah, so MB use data similar to what you see on GasSpy, but they then weight that per region to get.
Do you have any hood in New Zealand? Yeah, in Auckland there's a place called Otara. Otara is basically our hood. So it's basically it's genuinely like our O block. It's not got that much crime, but it's got like a reputation over here.
A national average. Last week the average price was $3.05. They'll update it tomorrow, and I'm told to expect it will have just gone under $3 as a national average. So that means the clock starts ticking. If we see 4 consecutive weeks of fuel being below that $3 price, then that would trigger us being able to lift the temporary supports. And I just want to emphasise what that would really mean.
It's not so much in charge, it's just that there's ethnic minorities there. Like it's mostly Pacifica people, like Islander people. It's like Maoris and Samoans and stuff like that. But there's a lot of whites too, and those guys are equally trash.
Mean, which is it would mean that we were back to really normal fuel pricing for New Zealand, which would be
I think Gibraltar is the hood of the UK.
an extremely positive thing for every household in the country who's been having to fork out more for fuel. Having that relief at the pump is very positive.
Man,
It's
I
also
can't tell
positive
anyone. I
for
wonder why.
businesses who have had that bigger cost to absorb, and it's really positive for business confidence, which we've seen in recent surveys has gone up. And that's good news for job creation, for income growth, and the opportunities we want to see made in this economy. So I say happy days when the fuel price is coming down.
There was no thought to extending that more weeks at all?
No, because we set the criteria of timely, targeted, and temporary, and that's the lens by which have been managing the financial situation. You know, our goal financially.
You know, ban them after the tragic mass shooting in the 80s and 90s, yeah.
Budget process as well is to make sure that we minimise the impact on inflation and growth. And as you've seen in this economy, there's been huge momentum in Q1. There's actually been quite good growth through the period of the crisis, although we expect to take a hit. But we want to pop up with as few barnacles on the boat economically so that we can get back into accelerating growth. This economy's on an upswing. That's evidenced by the fact that we've had 7% growth in Kiwis coming home, 5% less Kiwis leaving each month. That's all very positive. As we come out of this as cleanly as we can to accelerate growth and create more incomes and jobs for people.
But so if this diesel isn't kept beyond December, then how does it buffer us for any future changes in rules?
Yep. Question.
Well, exactly. So the deal that the government has done with Z Energy allows us the use of it until the end of December. We would have the option at that point of potentially extending that deal if we thought it was necessary. We could also look at some other options in terms of what our expectations are of fuel companies and the storage they have into the future. I think the Cabinet is pretty like-minded that as we look ahead, New Zealand
He called your point goofy, Aliana. Can you believe it?
needs more resilient storage. We've learned that during the recent crisis, and so that's what we want to build towards.
Yeah, like, are you leaning towards either which way? I mean, do you think it's worth holding on past December?
Well, we've got through till December to work out what the best arrangement is for New Zealanders. What we want is a deal that's good for you, the petrol user, that doesn't add too much to your costs, but is also good to you, the taxpayer, that it doesn't cost the government too much. So we'll look for the arrangement that strikes the best balance, but ultimately we want New Zealand to have more security that comes from more diesel storage.
But the fuel supply study also said that electrification of the fleet.
I love how you call yourselves Kiwis because of that fat little bird. That's cute. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, alright? It's a fat shot of a bird, but it's our fat shot, okay?
Would help with our security.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Electrification will absolutely help, and it's happening. In some of the months during the fuel crisis,
Like, think about how humble we Kiwis are, okay? We could have called ourselves, like, New Zealanders, whatever. Like, the Aussies call themselves Aussies because it's from Australia, you know? Because they're very, like, egotistical, and that they want to stick their identity to their nation. But, you know, we're very humble. We just want to compare ourselves to the humble little Kiwi bird, you know? Kiwi might not even be fat. Common pig is less than New Zealanders, yeah. We don't say that. Like, we're Kiwis, you know. We're very humble people.
we saw the registration of electric vehicles triple, or I think even quadruple 1 month, as New Zealanders made their own choice to purchase an electric vehicle so that they could escape.
Unfun fact: the biggest danger of the Kiwi bird is playful dogs. Yeah, it is. That and cats. Cats and stoats. It's like the three things, because like the Kiwi's like natural defense is quite literally just like stay still, show its ass, and do nothing, because that was his defense mechanism before different, different prey animals didn't come here. We're very humble people. Said every humblest person ever. True. See, you get it, Aliana.
Those high prices. As a government,
Yeah,
we've
what's up,
been investing in an electric vehicle charging network, partnering with the private sector to make sure there are more chargers
I'll take the
available around the
blame.
country, because we know one of the major
Yeah, all we gotta do, we gotta put all of Britain's war crimes onto you, Billy. Then you gotta like just end yourself, and boom, all of the UK's crimes are gone.
reasons people
You can be a national hero, Billy.
don't purchase an electric vehicle is they have
Basically
what's called
Jesus,
range
yeah.
anxiety. They're
You
worried
get Christ the
that they
Redeemer.
won't be able to charge their vehicle readily enough. So we're putting in the infrastructure to support electrification, and we want to see it happening.
I just want to say on the energy strategy, though, there has been a real shift under this government. Our goal is not emissions and 100% renewables for the sake of being 100% renewable. That is a co-benefit or a byproduct of us actually pursuing more energy independence and more energy
I die for only
security.
Britain's
So
rights
our
as
strategy
base.
is and. And so when we've done fast track and RMA
You're like Christ, but if he was a segregationist.
reforms, which Shane and Chris Bishop have done a great job on fast track legislation, you have seen more renewables built in 2 years than in the previous 8 years, and that is a good thing. In fact, the last quarter we ran at about 96% renewable electricity. In the last quarter we had the lowest level of emissions, frankly, out of this whole country since we've been recording since 2010. But make no excuse, we are not going to have people lose their jobs because of bumper stickers, which was the previous administration, where you might want to end the fossil fuels and everyone goes, oh, that's lovely.
Jesus, if who would Jesus bomb went wrong.
But at the end of the day, low and middle income people lost their jobs in 2024 because of an energy crisis.
Billy, we talked about that there is a downside. You won't have a PC, and then you won't be able to buy Futa Femboy House on Steam.
Created without thinking through the second and third order consequences. And so we will have a strategic coal reserve behind Huntly, which we've now put in place, almost 1 million tonnes. We are going to look at what we can do to build more resilience and more security and give ourselves more independence through storage.
Okay, we're counter-argument modding. You can get mods on Steam. You could have Futa Femboy House and then get a Dummy Mommy mod. What if I didn't get a Steam?
And diesel and other things, and we will have an LNG import facility, and we will co-invest with other thermal firming industry in energy as well. Shane, did you have a few things to say?
Well, I think it's important to bear in mind, as the two main ministers in charge of the RIF fund, Nicola Willis and I have signed off projects that accelerate
You can play Femboy Mommy Dummy.
geothermal energy.
Yes.
We are currently looking at a proposal for the major event that will take.
You can get that, but you can't get Mario, but let's switch to mods. You can have Mario and Femboy there. Why would I want to play a game about a Polish-Italian man with a Femboy there?
Place at Canterbury University on hydrogen. We haven't fully worked through a hydrogen proposal, but we've both learnt, much to my
Because why
surprise,
not?
that
Yeah,
there's
fair
a
enough, fair
resource
argument.
called white
Can't even
hydrogen in
counter
New
it.
Zealand. It does need more scientific technology and investment. And in the early stages of August, a large event with international investors, domestic investors, scientists is taking place. There are already a host of people engaged, and I think it's a good idea that we further enhance the capacity of that hitherto marginalised resource to play a greater role with the private sector community working closer with our government. So I don't think it's fair to say just because we removed a subsidy.
What the fuck is that Elvish-ass language? Is that Norse? Sorry, typo. Don't worry, even if you typoed something, I wouldn't know what the fuck it is.
On electric vehicles, that somehow we're walking away from a more diverse energy
Mix.
and you'll hear more about the hydrogen thing once Nicola and I have signed off various proposals.
It's translated, what's then? Nice English. What's then?
Topic of emissions, has there been any discussions within the two parties about that Paris climate target? Because I know that New Zealand First doesn't support continuing with that.
Well, I think it's fair to say the Cabinet has a position.
Yeah.
And as
What
the
is
Prime
that?
Minister has said on numerous occasions, what individual parties may or may not put on their manifestos does not detract from what the position of the Cabinet is. And given that I'm here today as a Minister with the Prime Minister, it's up to him to remind us as to what the position of the Cabinet is. and what my leader may or may not campaign as a New Zealand First leader about is a different matter.
We're all here in our government capacity today, not our party capacities. But you know, as Shane's right, as a cabinet, we made a decision. Actually, you know, there are 4 countries that are outside of Paris Agreement at the moment. We are not going to. You know, we think coming out and withdrawing would be at this. You know, would be frankly. Send a message to our competitor countries and also large multinationals that they would actually punish our farmers, and we'd actually all be poorer as a result of that. Now, having said that, what we sure as hell ain't going to do is send billions of dollars offshore. You know, we're going to keep the money in New Zealand. We are on track to delivering net zero 2050. We may even get there a few years early. That's the commitment that we are very much focused on. I know many countries, the G7, probably about 85% of the G20, are all struggling to meet their Paris commitments. I'm sure there'll be fuller conversations in due course about that. We'll give it a good go. We know it's tight. We know our 2035 is finally aligned with our domestic tracking commitment as well. But just I want to reassure people it makes sense for us to stay in because it will punish every New Zealander. But equally, we're not going to send billions of dollars offshore.
So have you communicated with other Pacific leaders, other Pacific Prime Ministers about this Chinese missile into the Pacific?
Yeah, look, it's incredibly unwelcome and concerning what we've seen here, and we're in conversations with our counterparts across the region. And the reason's pretty simple, is this is an intercontinental ballistic missile test, the second that we've seen in recent years, having not had one in the region for 40 years from China. And of course, we are living in a region that is proudly nuclear free and has a history here. But also, we don't want to see increasing militarization in our region, and essentially now this is the second year where we've seen activity from China. So everything they're doing is legal. You know,
Gandhi was a pretty cool guy.
There's nothing illegal.
Loki gave us our independence. Loki.
Across the Pacific Islands and the Pacific family.
Wasn't kill this
we would
guy.
Say, hey, listen, this is a region that is, you know, this was fired into a nuclear-free part of the Pacific, and secondarily, we don't want to see militarization. We want to see an ocean of peace, as we say, at the Pacific Island Forum. So very unwelcome, very concerning. We were informed. We weren't consulted. We were told literally a couple of hours before it actually took place by the Chinese. And I just think it's the wrong course. You know, it militarizes our region. It's inconsistent with Pacific values, and I think there's going to be quite a big pushback from the Pacific.
Do you believe the timing was deliberate, given that defence agreement between Australia and Fiji?
You'd have to ask the Chinese about that, but we are aware.
The problem is that Gandhi's gonna bring up something about like he fucked his cousin, or like he had certain opinions on blacks or whatever, and he's gonna bring that up as like a Gandhi was an earlier great guy. But like, I don't really give a fuck if these Arab leaders get to be like jihadis and like abuse human rights, but they're based in Austin because they're like trying to free their country. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I get to keep my national hero.
of naval activity through the region, and obviously we monitor those sorts of things pretty closely. We'd seen similar activity happen, last year, if you remember, as well, coming through the Tasman as well. All I'm saying is that it looks like it's becoming more normalised behaviour. That's I think concerning, and I just think it's inconsistent with Pacific values. We have Pacific solutions to the challenges and opportunities that we have. We work really tightly as a Pacific Island Forum group of countries. We're in close contact. This is, ramping up the militarization. This is actually putting an ICBM into a nuclear-free Pacific.
And they fucked up things, but name one great figure. Yeah, exactly. Like, I just hate it so much, man. It's like, can I just get my guy, okay? Many say he was harsh with his wife or some shit, but in my opinion, his ideology wasn't a great thing as a whole. Whatever, bro.
That is unacceptable and concerning.
Prime Minister, would you consider calling in the ambassador to express your concern?
Karl Marx fucked his cousins like they were dead. He's even married to his cousin, like he impregnated his cousin.
Concerns? Is that something that you might?
We have expressed our concerns very directly and very clearly, as I've said consistently. Where we have differences, we raise them privately or publicly. I'm talking strongly about it right now to you, and we do so predictably and consistently, and we do that so we manage the differences. But all I'm saying is, it's completely legal what China is doing in terms of freedom of navigation.
So, yeah, true.
And the international law.
And he abandoned her. All right, he didn't even like look after. He literally abandoned her, like left her to die in Siberia.
But essentially, in the Pacific region, to see increasing militarization and to see it into a nuclear-free area, unacceptable
And can I follow up on that deal between Australia and Fiji?
How much
consideration have we given to joining that? Has there been any conversation?
Yeah, and Gandhi was an Indian who lived like how many years ago now? It's the same, like 80 years ago.
Look, I've spoken to Prime Minister Albanese and Prime Minister Rambuka in recent weeks about their agreement.
And also, I don't think 80 years ago impregnating a 14-year-old girl in the Soviet Union was still like viewed as an okay thing.
It only happened yesterday. We need to let them, solidify that agreement. We will make our own decision as a cabinet, but obviously discussions are ongoing and have been going on. But at this point, we'll have those conversations as a team.
That's quite different to what you said yesterday when you were asked about this exact same question before we knew that China had sent that missile into the Pacific. You said that cabinet had signalled an interest in joining. So has that changed?
Yes, no, that's what I mean by our discussions with the Australians and with the Fijians. The detail of we have to have negotiations to actually see into that agreement. It's only been signed yesterday.
We can blame ideology, but we can't judge people who are taught more. Wiley's favorite type of person is, why can't I have kids with a 50-year-old because of biology? Yeah, like if you're already making those arguments, like, brother, what are we doing?
As a bilateral agreement between Australia and Fiji. We have said as a cabinet that we are very interested in exploring participation in that, but there's a wee way to go with discussions that would need to take place with both those countries.
And how would you like the Pacific Island Forum, which is meeting next month, to address this increasing threat in the region?
Well, I mean, again, there's no illegal activity happening here. This is actually, we uphold international law and we respect international
Like, it's quite simple. We only live to like 20.
law, so there's nothing.
Or 30. Yeah, I think it was 30. Like, I think I brought this up last stream, like, Billy, if it wasn't for like modern medicine, you would be like on death's door right now.
No, but well, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that the legality.
You'd be a tribal elder.
Is entirely legal. But the reality is, in our region, in our part of the world, we reject increasing militarization, and we reject certainly.
Gandhi, you really are the king of like taking like the most like indefensible positions. Like first the N-word thing, and now it's this. Like it's getting worse and worse.
Firing ICBM into a nuclear-free Pacific that has a long history about nuclear testing and other things in this region, and so it's a sensitive issue for us. So we, as a Pacific Island Forum, will make those points pretty clearly. I suspect as a group. We'll continue our conversations with our counterparts across the region as we gear up to the PIF.
And how has that changed from previous conversations? This isn't the first time they've done this.
I think 18's a pretty good age, because it's like when you're finishing high school and going to enter like adult life and uni and shit like that. 20, I can understand why you think 20, but I think 18's a pretty good age. Because like I think we view like finishing like high school education as like entering adulthood, because you get to make like real like serious decisions about, you know, if you want to join university or if you want to join the workforce or this kind of stuff. So yeah, for me 18 is like very, I think is the thing. I know in the UK you guys are still like low-key like e-phebophile, so you've got at 16.
It's the second time, as I said, it's becoming more normalised behaviour,
But like with like 18, you don't have a job. Yeah, but like the idea is that you've reached that position of adulthood, so like you can actually chase like either a job or like a higher education.
That's why we've got to keep calling it out, and we do that, as I said, publicly and privately.
Has New Zealand helped get your perspective on this talk of social media?
Oh no, if you date a 16-year-old, everyone fries you. You'll be dragged to hell, yeah. But the point is, it's legal in the UK from what I understand at 16. Some folk work since they were 11. Yeah, like in part-time jobs, whatever. 100 years ago, with plus 20, it was a massively accepted thing. It was still far from today's age perspective. Yeah, but like we're not 100 years ago. We're now.
Potential ban, and how there's reporting that National wants to clamp down on VPNs. Are you able to clarify?
I can reject that outright. There's no plan to ban VPNs at all. I don't know where that reporting or where that story came from, but I can reassure you that's not the case. Obviously, the social media legislation is being drafted by PCO at the moment. It'll come to Cabinet. We'll have a conversation shortly about that. We'll have more to say about it shortly as well.
So, where might that have come from?
I don't know. I just saw the reporting you did, but I know that's not our position or policy at all.
Prime Minister, something that National would want to look at, maybe.
No.
No.
Prime Minister, about 95,000 families have been getting that.
About 146,000 families.
The
Yes.
total is about 96,000, although you were targeting initially to get 150,000.
Sorry.
Brother, why are you even defending Stalin? You're not even a commie. Why the fuck are you defending? Like, just like put the fries in the bag, bro. Like you have no attachment to this guy.
Yeah, look, I think this is a misunderstanding from, are you from Radio New Zealand? No, it's a misunderstanding from Radio New Zealand. We were clear and advised by IRD that up to 143,000 families would be eligible for the full payment and another 14,000 or so
bet they're
for
shaking.
partial payment. It's always been the case that how they claim that in-work tax credit is up to them. We know that, as you say, around 100,000 have already claimed it in real time. IRD expects that on average they will see several thousand more choose to claim it at the end of the year. That's always been a choice available to families who are eligible for the in-work tax credit. That's how it's operated in the past, and we were very clear when we increased the in-work tax credit to keep all of the eligibility rules the same as they have been previously, including that ability to claim it both for a small period of time, a partial period of time, or at the end of the tax year. So what that means is the numbers that have claimed it so far don't represent the total numbers. So the advice that we were given from IRD is that we should still expect more people will claim it in future.
Okay, guys, any last question, or to wrap it up and get you out into some dry weather?
One response from you, Nicola Willis, on supermarkets. So should supermarkets be charging suppliers? The question I've got on behalf of a colleague. I understand it's a new report that's come out.
Yeah, that's right. So the Commerce Commission are looking hard at that. These are billions of dollars of extra payments that suppliers are asked to make in order to supply the major 2 supermarket chains in New Zealand. And in the Commerce Commission's view, there are questions to be asked about whether that's always fair. And of course, it matters to New Zealand shoppers because those extra charges can potentially get passed on to you. And the price you pay for food, and it matters to suppliers because it may make it harder for them to supply their goods to a range of different supermarkets. So I'm pleased that the Commerce Commission has...
Like, can't you? Like, the reason why rape is bad, like forcing unconsensual sex, like, it's not like the women are infatuated with him. They were probably scared for their lives or screaming or some shit. Like, there were some, like, visceral actions happening. So, yes, he was a bad person. Like, yeah, I don't know.
chosen to monitor that area.
Like, if you were to ask me, could he be legally prosecuted? Obviously fucking not. He was, like, the totalitarian leader of a tribal clan. But, like, he was objectively raping women. Remember, because I said one of the things you can say because I said so true.
Carefully. Anything we can do to make food more affordable at the checkout is something we should do. We know we have limited competition in the New Zealand supermarket industry, so it's important that where these sorts of practices are emerging, that the Commerce Commission takes a careful look.
Okay, team, let's wrap it up there just because I want everyone to get dry and out of the weather. So let's do that now. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Ganju. The problem is, like, your initial statement is just wrong. Because, like, everybody kind of, like, intuitively knew to a degree that violence and, like, murder was bad. Like, for example, if a Roman guy just killed his wife and, like, his family, would his family like, wow, he killed mum? No, they would fucking scream. Because everybody knew this kind of shit was bad. Like, everybody kind of knew. The problem is there was no legal recourse. That doesn't stop it from being a bad thing. Legality and morality are not the fucking same. Limiting the storage, owns a project, a broad mesh. Multi contract family, unlike the monster. Okay. So this is a pretty good policy. I see no problems with it. All right, I'm gonna be back. Give me a minute.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit it'll be a fleeting visit to New Zealand, but it is happening at the end of this week. Friday he will touch down, Saturday full engagements, and then he's off.
The visit reflects the strength of the relationship and the growing momentum between New Zealand and India. New Zealand exporters are already seeing the real benefit of momentum, even though the Indian FTA hasn't yet even come into force.
Commissioner of India to New Zealand, and joins me live at the desk this morning. Hi Commissioner, lovely to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Tell me, have you spoken to the Prime Minister? How is he excited about coming to New Zealand? First visit of an Indian leader here in 40 years.
Absolutely. I haven't spoken to Prime Minister Modi directly about his visit to New Zealand, but I am closely in touch with his office, and we are working so hard for this visit to be extremely memorable, and I know that he really looks forward to coming here.
The FTA is quite a significant deal, not as significant for India as it is.
All right, there you go. Thank you. I was gonna say, are you gonna land at Auckland Airport or Wellington Airport? What's your flight details?
For us, you know, we have a lot to gain out of this deal. From the India side, are you happy with it?
Absolutely. So when the Right Honourable Christopher, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, went to India last year, our two
Oh, you haven't booked yet? Okay.
prime ministers, they committed to having trade negotiations, and it was delivered. So in April this year, I was very fortunate to witness the signing of the free trade agreement. And I think that both sides are very happy about it, and our businesses are convinced that it's good for both our countries. Because what will happen is India is a big market, as you know, and also with joint ventures, there's a lot that we can do together. As well, there is this capability piece, because New Zealand is very good for sustainability in agriculture and all that. So we're working on things like kiwi, on honey, on apples for more productivity. So those kind of things are very important for India.
Do you feel like Indians are accepted and live without fear of racism, xenophobia, that sort of thing in New Zealand?
So I've been here in New Zealand for about 3 months, and I've engaged a lot with the Indian diaspora. First of all, I want to say that we have a very dynamic, talented Indian diaspora here, and they are doing so well. Indians came to New Zealand more than 100 years ago, and when they first came, they faced all of this. But they have thrived actually in the midst of adversity. Now they're doing really well in all spheres of life. There are instances where there are targeted speech about them, but I feel that we can.
Might be a hot take, but oh shit. If any person went introduced directly to the kind of morality that we have after Renaissance age, everyone would be a horrible person. Alright, Ganju. The problem is, I don't know whether you can't understand this or you're not understanding it. There is a difference between morality and legality. Okay? Like, if a noble in like the 12th century just randomly killed a peasant, the people on the street wouldn't be like, okay, whatever, that's whatever, dude, just another guy died. No, they would freak out, but they can't really do anything because he's a fucking noble lord. Morality never, like, we've always had some levels of intuitive morality. Like, same thing, if the king just walks into a peasant's room and like grapes his like daughter or something, they don't just go like, oh, it's just how the world works. No, it's a terrible thing, but like again, there was no legal recourse for that kind of thing. So like, no, I'm sorry, you're wrong, yeah.
And all rally together and just highlight the value that Indian diaspora bring to the Kiwi society. I was in an event called the Kiwi Indians Hall of Fame this Friday, and the Prime Minister was.
There's no legality and morality, but only there was a morality. Like, no, I'm sorry, like Gandru, like a society operates off a moral framework. Like things like rape and murder were like just bad things. The problem was the authority of those things. Yeah, no, whatever.
There as well. And we were just celebrating the contribution of Kiwi Indians to New Zealand society.
There is a lot to celebrate, and there is going to be more reason to celebrate as we get closer and closer out to countries, which is a good thing. However, there are some who say that India, your side, has been misled by this free trade agreement, including our foreign minister, Winston Peters. Do you feel, does the Indian side feel that it's been misled over this?
I personally don't think so. We are closely engaged with the New Zealand government on.
Ganju, follow the logic there. Just follow the fucking logic. You're saying just do anything if nobody could have stopped you. You're correct there. If you want to rape someone or murder someone, there was no legality, there was no protections. That's why, like the problem is this is survivorship bias. So the good people would not do these things, but the bad people did do these things because there was no protections. There was no legal repercussions. But the morals were still there, like in the framework. It's not like everybody in Europe was just raping each other 24/7. Like criminals are always going to exist in history, but because there was no legal framework of protection, the people who wanted to do bad things could just do it and get away with it.
These matters, but I believe that the free trade agreement is good for both our countries.
Winston Peters has made some quite specific claims. He says that.
Andrew, why is it every stream you lose your fucking stuff? I don't know, like he's just got like a very big sexual attraction to like defending the most undefensible shit.
The government is
his lawyer pal,
including imposing a labour market and economic needs test for Indian citizens that does not apply to nationals of other FTA partner countries. Does that concern you?
All of these claims, we are closely in touch with the New Zealand government.
So you have raised them with the New Zealand side?
So we are in conversation with the New Zealand government on all aspects of the free trade agreement, and as it goes through ratification in Parliament, naturally we're engaged with them.
Totally, but what are you telling them about these? Are they bad?
Not necessarily. The free trade agreement has this TEE for highly skilled people to come from India to work here and bring value to the New Zealand society and economy. So these things that are raised, they can be raised. There's no problem in raising them. But we are engaged with the New Zealand government, and
The other issue that's been raised is the 5,000 number of visa holders, and there was a suggestion that on the Indian side you were expecting that partners and children would come on top of that. Was that India's expectation?
No, not really. So these people would come here, they would work, and then they would go back. So it's very clearly laid out.
Not with partners and children.
Yeah.
No. Okay. And the promoting billions of dollars in investment into India over many years, there was some suggestion if we don't do that, or if there aren't billions invested, that we might get in trouble.
I think that is a poor way of looking at all of this. Look at it from this free trade agreement is a tremendous opportunity for India and New Zealand. And this investment piece is not something that's a burden on New Zealand. It's a great opportunity, because if you look at other countries like South Korea, like Japan, they invest so much in India, and it brings them value and it brings them profitability. And from India, you can export further to other markets.
Yeah.
So focus on that.
Okay, fair enough. Good to get you.
If from a lawyer pill, and even from the modern era perspective, how would you judge anyone who lived a wild life and never thought of morality? But my brother in Christ, God, the problem is you're not. There are always going to be people who want to break the law and do terrible shit. What I'm telling you is that back in the day, there were not legal protections for especially women, but most fucking common people. So if you wanted to do bad shit, especially if you had like a noble title or you were a person of authority, you could do anything. The morals were in place. Like rape and murder were all bad things objectively. Like people had a feeling like when a woman was being raped, it wasn't like she was just taking like, oh, this is the thing I have to go through. No, like it was it was a terrible thing, but you couldn't stop it. There was no legal repercussions, but clearly the morals were there. I'm sorry, you're just completely wrong on this. Yes, I talk to the brother.
Your take on some of those more controversial, those more prickly issues. But no doubt what you're saying is true. There is massive opportunity for both of our countries here, and we look forward to taking it up with vigor. Thank you very much for joining me. Hi, Commissioner. Lovely to have you on the program. That's pol+We. Let's go to Chris Hipkins, Labour leader, with us for his...
Hey, by the way, guys, don't say CP. The proper term is CSAM. Yeah, doesn't it, like, I think because CP is child porn, and then CSAM is like child sexual abuse material, I think. If I remember correctly?
Quickly catch up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Poor guy. You ever been caught out like that, when you're doing a live TV, you're doing an
some form of consent, yeah. Yeah, I know CSAM is like the new legal term or whatever.
interview, and you got
or it's a new
something in your
term.
throat, and you just can't help it.
Yeah.
It happened to me. It's happened to me before. It certainly happened to me in Parliament's debating chamber. I remember being in the middle of a very intensive round of question time, and I was the one doing the questioning, and I lost my voice completely, and I had to sort of squeak my way through it. It was not great.
There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse. Hey, well, there are plenty of things that are worse actually, including missiles being fired at us from China. Not a great start to your day, is it, when you hear about an ICBM coming into the South Pacific? Do you think this is just, what do we do about it? Just sort of get on with life? Do we sign up to this deal that the Aussies and Fijians have signed? Apparently our government's looking at it.
It's a really concerning development. We want the Pacific to be an ocean of peace.
Whoever wants to
Our
be
Pacific neighbours also want the Pacific to be an ocean of peace, and we don't welcome this kind of ballistic missile testing in our backyard. And New Zealand government have expressed very strong
have you
concerns
guys
about that, and
done
I strongly
other
endorse
than
those
mission?
concerns. In terms of the ally agreement that Australia signed up to with
I don't
Fiji,
know.
I think that's very welcome, because again, it's a reinstatement of or a reinforcement of that commitment to the Pacific being an ocean of peace. And if there's an opportunity for New Zealand to be part of that, we should certainly do that.
See, I had this fight with Wayne Mapp, well, not a fight, but a debate with Wayne Mapp about it earlier, because we say an ocean of peace, but then the deal is if they are attacked, Fiji or Australia, and this is the first defence agreement like this that Fiji has signed, it's the fourth for the Aussies, if either of them is attacked, then they come together to fight the common aggressor, which presumably would be China at some point in the future. So yes, it's about peace, but also it's saying if one of us is attacked, then we're all coming in together. I mean, is that how we should approach this? That if China comes down here, an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us, and we will all fire back?
Well, the critical thing here is it's a defence agreement, so it's not an aggressive agreement.
The problem is, Ganju, like, everything you just said means nothing to me. Because, again, this falls under legality, not morality. The reason why they could do it is because they just had the authority to do it, because they were totalitarian leaders. There was no legal frameworks. It wasn't normal. It was like, it's not normal because like, killing people was normal. Like, if Genghis Khan killed someone, it wasn't just, like, treated like nothing happened. Like, it was a tragedy. But, like, he could just do it because he had the authority to do it.
It's an agreement to support each other in the event that one is attacked. It's not a commitment to go in behind another country should they be the aggressor. And I think that is really important because, you know, us restating that we believe the Pacific should be an ocean of peace and saying that we're willing to play our part in securing that is really important. That doesn't mean that we're signing up to aggressive action. It means that we're signing up, we're saying that we would be part of defensive action.
Fine, you know, Billy, just
again?
for you, I'll do it after this. While we're talking about morality and legality, like, I'm sorry, Ganju, you started off the conversation talking about morality. Like, that's how this started. That's why I took a problem with it.
Data centres. Government's looking at, Invest NZ, which is the Crown entity, looking for foreign investment, trying to get 30 billion to invest in data centres. Hugely controversial, these things. I mentioned it on the show this morning on ZB, and the text machine's like, with people saying, we want a referendum on these things. Like, I don't know why, but people very irked by them. Where do you sit?
I've talked, they weren't...
It does seem to be the latest thing that's really set off the Twitter sphere. Data centres have a place. You know, we use our phones, we use ChatGPT, we use much of the technology, we use cloud computing all of the time. That data's got to be stored somewhere. So I do think there's.
Hey Billy, what's the word for cigarettes in Britain? It's a very special word you guys use for it. It starts with an F. I forget what it's called. You want to put it in Twitch chat for a second?
An opportunity for New Zealand to have more sovereign data centres here in New Zealand, and I think that that's potentially quite a good thing. They need renewable energy, obviously, and we have an abundance of renewable energy, so there are potential opportunities for New Zealand there, but as with all things, there's downsides, there's risks, and you've just got to manage those.
Hey, in Christchurch, property developer, co-founder of Williams Corporation,
the Latin
Council, referred to police about a political billboard. We're going to show people. I don't know if you've seen this yet. It's a billboard that's
really
saying, Chris Hipkins wants to govern you harder. It's an anti-Labour billboard. He's in a bit of hot water about it. Thoughts?
Haven't seen it. Obviously not very creative if that's all it says. Maybe it needs a bit of imagination.
So you don't want to govern us harder?
No.
No, he should have like doubled down. Like, yeah, I want to govern you hard. I want to do my best at the job. Like, I don't want to govern softly. Like, what the fuck? I would want to say my slang, but then I remember Yankees exist, and the Twitch is yeah. Yeah, your society economy is collapsing. Okay. Pax Britannia has been over for a while. Okay, you're under the Yankee world now.
New Zealand First, and they're seeking a law change. This is
Yankee
for
world
permanent
order.
residents to stop permanent residents from being able to vote. Harm in doing that? Do we actually know how many of them do vote now?
Well, let's be clear of what Winston Peters is targeting here. There's
Oh,
over
no,
half a
Captain Hahn.
million New Zealand Indians and Chinese, many of whom were born in their respective countries, and many of whom have not signed up to be New Zealand citizens, because to do so would mean losing the citizenship of the
To
country.
be fair, for you Brits, being governed in general would be awesome, considering you guys have cycled through like billions of like PMs in the span of a couple of years. So.
In which they were born, because those countries don't allow the same dual citizenship that New Zealand, Australia, the UK, the US, Canada.
Why does he look symmetrical? Because he's our goat. Okay, he is our god. That's why he's so symmetrical. God made him perfect.
And so on allows. So that's potentially, over 500,000 New Zealanders, many of whom would lose their right to vote if this government's re-elected and Winston Peters gets his way.
Just had Guy Haddleton on, NBR Rich Lister, founder of
He represents east to west of Kiwi.
many technology companies, basically very wealthy individual who, by the way, said he would be happy to pay capital gains tax. You'd be good. You'd be pleased to know. But also he talked about New Zealand's energy independence. You have an energy announcement tomorrow. Will it make us or help make New Zealand become energy independent?
New Zealand should be more energy independent, and one of the ways that we can become more energy independent is to really double down on renewable energy. We have an abundance of renewable energy in New Zealand. We're not very good at, well, in some areas we're good at harnessing it. In electricity generation we've done okay, but we need to transition more towards renewable electricity and away from fossil fuels. So that is the strategic opportunity for New Zealand. It's one the Labour Party absolutely believes in. If we can move to...
Yes, I'm willing to. No. It better not be about animals if it is. I'm gonna wag my finger at you.
Electrifying a lot more things, and if we can make sure that electricity is coming from renewable energy, then that's going to be a huge competitive advantage to us. It's going to lead to lower electricity prices for New Zealanders. Win-win-win.
You're not going to nationalise any power companies or anything crazy like that, right?
Well, you just have to wait till tomorrow to see what our announcement
Holy
is.
based, wait. Holy shit, wait. If they actually end up talking about like nationalize the power company, it'd be so fucking based. If you take every single blood vessel and vein and artery from the human body and stretch it out, the perfect atom, the line, they would... Wow, I would have never guessed that.
Announcement that's about doing more of the things that we're good at.
Appreciate your time this morning, Chris. Look forward to tomorrow's announcement as always. Chris Hipkins, the Labour leader, with us.
I'm really looking forward to the energy announcement tomorrow. That's going to be fucking key now.
China has conducted a long-range ballistic missile test in the South Pacific. It's a move the Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong has called destabilising.
This proposed test is in the context of a rapid military
I'm looking forward to the
by
Beatles,
China,
yeah.
which is
I want to finish this one off and then we'll do the Beatles next.
And reassurance as to intent that the region expects.
Our Foreign Minister Winston Peters says it's concerning. Let's go to Wayne Mapp, former Defence Minister. Good morning, Wayne. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
So, do you think this is because of the military drills that are going on in the Pacific? Do you think this is because of the deal between the Aussies and the Fijians, or we kind of don't know specifically?
I think it's probably more like it's a pre-planned thing. As you said, China is building up its capability across every area, including its nuclear system. Now, we, of course, were the pioneers of the nuclear-free zone in the South Pacific. Now, first of all, 50 years ago, actually, opposing tests by France, then nuclear-free zone in New Zealand itself, 1985, then the South Pacific nuclear-free zone. So we are obviously going to protest against China. This is something that should not be happening in the South Pacific, and we have fought hard to keep it free from that aspect of great power.
There's a lot of xenophobia now. It's not xenophobia if they're actively violating, like, our waters. Like, New Zealand has a big history but on, like, anti-nuclear and just, like, warhead stuff in general. And they've been testing their own shit, like, in the ocean. It's nothing xenophobic. Like, there is a genuine fear in the Pacific about, like, Chinese military expansion. Like, just recently, like a year back, they bought a military base in the Solomon Islands, which is really close to, like, Australia and New Zealand. And it kind of makes us very uncomfortable. I'm not saying no like that. I'm saying just because it's China equals bad. I don't get me wrong. I can understand what you're saying, but like the accusations of xenophobia are not like even nearly close enough to just the actual threat China poses as like a state.
Our competition for now over 50 years. In fact, we actually took France to the International Court of Justice.
Should we sign up to this? Because the idea that this deal between the Australians and the Fijians is being drafted in a way that others can sign up. And current Defence Minister Chris Pink says we're considering doing that. Is that something we should do?
Well, it makes sense for the South Pacific nations to stand together. I heard earlier you talking about New Zealand becoming the Switzerland of South Pacific.
Yeah, what's great idea, Wayne?
No, it's a bad idea. So what you're
Why?
really saying is that we're going to break our, alliance, our only alliance with any country in the world, with Australia. So that's just kind of ridiculous in my view. So it makes sense for the South Pacific nations, of which Fiji is it's the largest Pacific nation really. Makes sense for Australia, New Zealand, Fiji to be tied together, sort of a web of relationships.
Will this just be a political stream? We're gonna do the Beatles thing, and depending if one of my friends is online, I really want to play some Schedule One tonight. But it depends if he's online or not. I think he's offline now, but yeah, we'll see.
Within the South Pacific, saying to the rest of the world, keep your great power competition out of our region.
Yes, but the problem with I agree with you to a point, but then the Aussies have a deal, are an ally of the Americans, right? So they're tied, and we then tie ourselves to the Australians. We make ourselves part of that conflict that you're talking about that we're trying to avoid. If we just say we're Switzerland, are we not safer?
No, we're not. By the way, neutrality is not like a defense mechanism. Like the only reason the Nazis never invaded the Swiss is because they were hyper militarized and they had a shit geography to invade. It wasn't because we were neutral. Like the Dutch and the Belgians were neutral. Look what happened to them. So like unless Ryan here is advocating for like upping our military expenditure by like 50% like now and forever for like the next 50 years, like neutrality is not an option.
Well, do you still want to have New Zealanders about to visit Australia on a special visa capacity? Do you still want the deep relationship we have with Australia?
And there's trade deal stuff too, yeah.
Then you maintain the ally status. Does that, in a sense, tie us into the broader West? Yes, it does. There's no getting past that. In fact, I've written about this in a defence magazine, Line of Defence. We are tied in. There's no doubt about that. And the United States is networked in the Pacific in a way that it is not with Europe. It's got territory in the Pacific, including actually within the South Pacific. We forget about American Samoa. It's an American possession. So they are vested in our region in a way that they're not in Europe. I know that seems a bit odd, but...
Bro, I was chopping veggies from food. Why does it smell like iron? Probably because your knife is rusting. Or something's going on there, brother. Or no,
because Europe is big and powerful and all of that, but nevertheless, this relationship, it's a different kind of relationship, and we are tied into it. There is no doubt about that, but we really want the major nations to keep their big conflicts and contests out of the South Pacific, and we're right to say that. New Zealand has got a specific duty, if you will, and also in our self-interest to carefully balance the relationship that we have with both China and the United States. We want to be friends with actually both.
Yeah, 100%. This is fascinating discussion and right up my alley. I'm enjoying this, Wayne. When it comes to Taiwan, because that's going to be the inflection point, the kickoff, the potentially kickstarts whatever it is that we might be talking about in the future. You know, there are some military academics, there are even some in the intelligence community who reckon that China could do something in Taiwan, whether it's a quarantine or a blockade or whatever, as early as 2027. Do you think that there is, you know, in the coming years, is something building here that most of us aren't conscious of?
Yeah, well, that's a risk. There's no doubt about it. China has made a massive build-up in its defence force. You know, it's the second now only to the United States, and I can see a day where it'll be actually comparable. And indeed, within the East China Sea, it already is, no question about it. New Zealand's interest would not be to get involved in that particular contest. We would always want to be counselling, settle that issue peacefully. I've actually said that directly to Chinese officials' face.
All right, appreciate your time this morning, Wayne. Thanks very much. Wayne Mapp, former Defence Minister with us live. It is...
All right, Beatles time.
Beatles vocabulary. About 180 Beatles name in English with pictures. Okay, let's dive into the topic.
Why is an Indian guy talking about it? You couldn't find an Englishman talking about this.
Eastern Hercules beetle, jewel scrab, bear scrab, Danaparis beetle.
What the fuck?
Gold ground beetle. Lily
This video
beetle.
is fake.
Asparagus beetle.
It's just naming them. It's not even like fun facts about beetles.
Caterpillar hunter beetle
Yeah,
or
you-
searcher beetle. Acilius beetle. Broken dust lady beetle.
They look so cool.
Strasseni metallic jewel. Western Hercules beetle. Alpine longhorn beetle. Asian longhorn beetle. Batocera beetle. Oxyporus beetle. Glorious crab beetle. Seven-spotted ladybird. Hema blue jewel. Pachylingus weevil.
We're speedrunning it.
Metallic green jewel. Icon rhino beetle. Japanese beetle. Denatal leaf beetle. Spring dumbledore. Golden dew crested.